Another interesting thing is the way that Mark Poole has changed his opinion quite markedly over the last 12 months or more. Initially he thought Antifa was no big deal. It was just a nuisance group. Now he's taking it much more seriously, and even regarding it as part of the far left. He's actually using that term. In the past he was using more terms like far right. So he's definitely gone through a transition. His friend Adam has actually gone out and publicly said he's going to vote for Donald Trump this election. And they're just not the sort of people you'd expect to be Trump supporters, skateboarders and, pretty left liberal types. But the left are so crazy now with the destruction of history through destroying statues that are actually of people like abolitionists. So it's nothing to do with racism, about slavery. They're getting rid of statues of people who actually fought against slavery. This is the insanity. It's just cultural vandalism. That's all it is. And he's seen the light, which is good. It's taken a while, because I mentioned it to him years ago. I put probably a year or so ago, I'd say, maybe 18 months. I put a comment in saying that he's fallen for the same trap that Obama did by calling Antifa the JV squad, which is sort of junior varsity in American terms. That's sort of like the second tier sports level, maybe college sports level. So they're not to be taken seriously, basically. They're not really competitive in the terrorism stakes in this case. That was the idea behind the statement. But now, as I say, to his credit, Tim Poole, he's not averse to a bit of vacillation. He can swing one way or the other quite a bit, even within the same video. That's quite funny. Like at the beginning of a video, he'll say, "Oh, Trump hasn't got a hope of winning the election." Then by the end of it, he might say, "Oh, he's probably going to do okay," but he won't. He wants a bet each way. He has no confidence in his predictive powers. That's why I always go with Tal Warwick, who's Sticks and Hammer 666. He's an interesting character, living in the Netherlands with his wife, but he's Native American. It's his first time overseas, and he seems to be quite happy in Holland. I suppose you would. You're in your honeymoon period too, and he's got plenty of his cats around him, so he's pretty happy in plants. So yeah, he's pretty content. But they're both interesting. These guys are both got similar backgrounds. They both have working class origins. They've both had pretty rough childhoods from the sound of things. But they've made good. And they're both workaholics, because they churn out so much material. Tal would actually post about 4 videos or more a day. And I think Tim Poole, if you add up all the stuff he does, I'd say at least be 6 to 8. It's unbelievable. The guy is a workaholic. So, very similar to my neighbour, who is also Korean. I think my neighbour's 100% Korean. Tim Poole, I think, is about 25%, I gather. Yeah, he's got the Korean work ethic, that's for sure. Apparently Korean is one of the major ethnic groups in Parramatta Park. That doesn't surprise me, because I think a lot of Asians want to live near the centre of a city, even if it's a provincial city. I had the same thing in central Melbourne, of course, with all the students, but there it was more Chinese and Indian. So yeah, I'm going to earn my chicken roll when I get back. The chicken lasts me a long time. When I roast the chicken, it keeps me fed for more than a week. So there's plenty of good meat on it still. So looking forward to that. I might get some more bacon tomorrow, maybe, or even today, but I don't want to eat bacon every day. It gets a bit boring. It's lovely, but I don't. Just one slice of bacon with egg, with a fried egg, and spinach, raw spinach, that's nice, spinach leaves, It's an unusual roll, but I quite like it actually. And I also put a bit of hot sauce on the chicken breast, so gives it a bit of spice. Because I'm used to hot sauces, but having spent so much time in South Vietnam, it's southern part of Vietnam, they do like their hot spices down there. I looked up airfares yesterday, just seeing what the options were getting down to Brisbane in the week after next, or next week. Left it a bit late. They're going up a bit, the prices. There are two options. The Virgin are flying again, so that's good, from Cairns, so they've got flights to Brisbane. Alliance aren't. They're not starting yet, but they're starting just after I need to get back here. So I think around the 17th of July, Alliance is starting flights from the Sunshine Coast to Cairns. But there are Virgin flights now, and but it cost me about $500 to return, so it's not cheap, because there are flights advertised further down the track about a month ahead with Jetstar, which are about $89 each way, so it's quite a lot more. I'd like to go there, but I've also been told it's quite cool down in Brisbane. My friend who's living there, he's complaining about the cold, which is funny. I think it's obviously a lot better than Melbourne, but still he reckons it's quite nippy in the mornings especially. So it's about 3 degrees warmer here, so yeah, I don't know, maybe I should put it off. Well, this is a familiar sight. Again, we're out of, well, not totally out actually, it's not as bad as in the past, but certainly the one I'm looking for, the variety I'm looking for, is not here, which is toilet paper. So there is some panic buying happening again. It's very disappointing. I haven't been able to record anything up until now because of there's been a constant southwesterly or west, or more of a southerly actually, blowing continually. So it's just, that's Cairns for you. I had an unusual busker today. Someone playing the xylophone. I don't know if they call a xylophone player the xylophonist. I have no idea, but it's, yeah, an unusual bit of busking, quite loud actually, and not toe tapping stuff, I've got to say. But anyway, another thing about the social distancing fast, I want to make an observation here. I was waiting in line to be served at the checkout, and a guy kept lingering right next to me, another customer. He was next to a drinks dispenser. They'd put a drinks dispenser right next to one of those signs that you're supposed to stand on to distance yourself from the next person. Yet they put a drink dispensing machine diagonally opposite it. So he was right next to me. It was much closer than he'd been waiting in line. Just absurd, and it just reinforces the farcical nature of this, that it's very haphazard. I guess you could say that it's better than nothing. I'm still not convinced it actually works anyway. I think the best thing is to just let people go outside more, and that's a safer environment. Pretty safe today with this gale I'm encountering. God, it's a shocker. Amazing, there's actually not that much breeze right now. I actually had a chat to a neighbour who's apparently been in the block for about 14 years, and this is the first time I've actually had a chat with him. I've been there almost 3 years now, so it's quite surprising. I don't know why I haven't bumped into him before. Anyway, his name's Tommy, and he lives on the second level as opposed to top level like I do, and he gets even more noise from the creche, because he gave me a tour of his apartment, flat, whatever, and he had nicer tiles than me. I thought he had the original colour tiles, which were a darker sort of brownish colour, clay I guess you'd call it, or something like that. I thought that was actually better, but he also told me that 7 years ago he was, during summer, really hot night in summer, when he had the just the fly wire doors shut to his balcony, he said someone had actually snuck into his place and rifled through stuff, and he was asleep. He only realised when he woke up the next day. So yeah, that's pretty amazing. And like I say, he's much closer to the action with the creche. I'm actually better off than him. So for all my bitching, I could be worse off. So I'm in a slightly better position, which is good. He had a whole lot of stuff in his place. His place looked more homey than mine, I got to say. He gave me a bit of gossip about the price of different units there. It's quite surprising. The one on the front, on the top floor, is apparently being rented out for about $360, $380 a week. Mine was going for $280 and probably would have gone up to about $300 a week, I'd imagine. But I don't know why the one on the front's cost more. Now maybe the interiors are really nice, I don't know. Personally, I wouldn't want to be near the car park, so I think it's not as good a location. I'm pretty happy where I am. Hopefully I won't get broken into. I certainly don't leave doors like that open, but it looked like this guy knew that what they were doing, because they cut a hole in the glass to gain access. So if they're that determined, I don't think just a normal lock would have actually stopped them. So I think he was going to be broken into whatever happened. But yeah, not nice, not nice. And it's also, remember, I forgot to mention to him that it happened to my GP. He might even be seeing the same GP, because it's the closest general practice to where we're living. But of course he has a car, so he may go further. I'm not sure. Oh, it's good. Thank God that the wind's dropped off, because it's really getting frustrating not being able to record. As I say, I wanted to test out the new case. I had to swap the back door of the case, which is, it's the standard one, which is totally sealed. It's for going underwater. But I don't want that, because I've never taken this GoPro underwater. I'm more concerned with getting better sound, and this one's got a great cutout at the back, so it's all exposed in the back, which allows more sound to come in. So the sound should be the same as what I've been getting, although I've noticed I'm getting a little bit of background noise when I'm doing my editing. I don't know what's causing that, but when once I render the video, it seems to go. So I'm not quite sure what the story is there. So, well, I'm just grateful. There's a bit of swirling breeze at the moment. It's not too bad, so it's just good I can actually do a bit of the recording. Yeah, he said he used to walk some incredible amount per day. I think he said 8 kilometres or something crazy like that. But he's been laid up with some sort of some problem with his foot. Similar to what I guess that woman Stephanie in Naked and Afraid was experiencing, although she's in Africa and huge privations and things. And you can understand her having a worry. She's not got no footwear apart from anything else. So I think Tommy's better off than her, but Tommy's older than her too. He's probably similar vintage to myself. So yeah, he knew a few things about the place, and of course he'd been there so long. He'd been on the committee. He got bumped off the committee. They were supposed to apparently text him, but they never got back to him because he doesn't use the computer, so he didn't get an email. So I don't know why you wouldn't use a computer these days, but I mean, you can use email on your phone anyway. Maybe he hasn't got a smartphone. I couldn't live without one at the moment. I think it's so versatile. Oh, that's the other thing. Tommy doesn't use lights much. He has an incredibly low electricity bill. I think he said it was $120 for 3 months. Imagine, that's pretty well rock bottom. That's pretty well that'd be 90% supply charge, I'd say. That's incredible. That makes me look like a frivolous user of electricity. My bills are probably about $30 more than that. So it's all relative. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever. And either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great. But please don't ignore me. That's the worst thing you can do on YouTube, is be ignored.